All right, we are live. This is Bryan Bios number 2. Today with me, I'm joined with Denver Hogrefe. Denver plays softball here at Bryan. She is a starting pitcher for the Lady Lions. Denver, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be on here.
Well, it's good to have you. We're excited. This is our second one of these that we've done. Last week we had Cooper Ruling on. He was a great guest, and I have no doubt you'll be about the same. You guys both like to talk.
We do like to talk.
Yeah.
I do.
Cooper even said on that one that he could talk to a wall. So
I have.
talk to a wall?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Denver, you're at Bryan here. I'm a student at Bryan, but I'm a first-generation Bryan Lion. You are a third-generation Bryan Lion. So to start off, we had Jeremy Davidson's your uncle, right?
Yeah.
So we had him go through your family members that have attended Bryan. How many of those can you name?
Anywhere from 15 to 18, I would say. And that is just blood relatives, first gen, like closest to me. I can't even probably get into the second and third cousins. But, okay, let's start from the top. Jarema and Paul Stone, my grandparents. Ginger Lehman, Mike Lehman, aunt and uncle. Tracy Davidson, Jeremy Davidson, aunt and uncle. My mom, my dad, Sherry and Chris Hogrefe, my parents. Then I have Bryn O'Rear and Colin O'Rear. Landon and Beckham Davidson, Ruby Lehman, Portia and Eve are two of my second aunt and uncles that I could name. Obviously me. I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head, but there's more second cousins out there that a lot. But those are just the closest, like, I'm legit related to them that I can think of just off the top of my head.
Jeremy said that he thought it was in the 40s or 50s between second cousins that you mentioned.
That is crazy.
So you guys are, I mean, that's ridiculous. Like my family is spread everywhere, like mainly across Tennessee and Alabama. Yeah.
We are all right here.
That's crazy. And you're from Knoxville, Tennessee?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, more Loudon area. Not downtown Knoxville, but Hardin Valley, Farragut area.
So you're probably an hour from here, something like that?
Right at like an hour 10.
Okay. So what, asking what initially attracted you to Bryan is probably not a great question. But, you play softball here. What initially brought you to want to play college softball? Your early years in softball, if you will.
So to be completely honest, I grew up watching softball. My parents were college athletes. So I knew that I wanted to play a sport in college. I got to about my junior or senior year of high school, junior year really, and was debating whether or not I actually wanted to play college softball. So I actually didn't really apply anywhere, didn't really reach out to anybody. I talked to Roan State for softball, that was about it, but originally decided that I did not want to play. So it came down to the first semester of my senior year where I really was like, okay, I messed up. Like, I do want to play college softball. So obviously my mom was leaning for me to go to Bryan. She wanted me to go for a year. And I had talked to the coach that was currently here at the time, and he gave me an offer. And so I told my mom that I would go for a year, and if I liked it, I would stay. So I agreed with my mom and eventually came here to play college softball. I didn't end up playing my first year because I was ineligible, but I decided to stay for the full 4 years, and I really do. I don't regret my decision at all.
I mean, yeah, you're our second starting pitcher.
I am.
You and Peyton, reasons you guys kind of hold down the pitching for Bryan in that respect. We do have a story that we learned that we kind of want to ask you about.
Okay.
So we're going to take you back. It's your first year doing kid pitch.
Okay.
And a pitch hit you in the mouth. Do you remember what happened there?
My mom is not a traditional mom. She was never very sympathetic, and I love my mom, but sympathy was not one of her strong suits. She raised very tough children, and I was in kid pitch, and I had pitched the ball and taken a hit off of the mouth, and immediately my mouth started bleeding, and I wasn't crying or anything, but obviously I'm a kid who got hit in the mouth. And so all the parents and assistant coaches were trying to rush the field to, obviously come help this child. Yeah. And my mom sticks her arms out and tells everybody to stop. She's like, stop. And she looks at me with her sassy mom face, and she was like, you good? And I was like, I looked at her, and I was, stunned. And so she's just, looking at me like, you took a hit in the mouth. So I wiped my mouth off, spit the blood on the ground, and picked up the ball and went back to the mound and started pitching again. And actually, when I came in after that inning, my mom actually got mad at me for not finishing the play. She was like, "You're obviously not that hurt. Why didn't you pick the ball up and throw it?"
Yeah.
So now every time I've gotten hit, she expects me to pick the ball up and throw it until still try and get the out. And if I don't, then it's wraps.
Wow.
But yeah, so.
I've got a little bit of a different, maybe slightly embarrassing story I could share from my first year kid pitch. I played baseball till I was 10. So my first year of kid pitch, one could say that I was a little scared with the kid throwing the ball. Obviously, before it's just the coach.
Yeah.
You know, he's lobbing it in there. Yeah, he's lobbing it in there. You can swing on it. You can do whatever. So I was really good at coach pitch, but I was a little scared. And so we were playing. I was in fourth grade. We were playing a fifth grade team, and it was my first game of kid pitch. First at bat, I didn't swing. I didn't even look at. He struck me out. I was terrified. This kid was, I was probably like 4'8", something like that. This kid was almost 6 foot.
Oh my gosh.
He winds up at my second at bat and drills me right in the shoulder. And I went down. I started crying. It was bad. And that whole year, I was terrified of the ball. I maybe got like 2 hits. And my dad was so mad at me. He was like, so the next year, like, he basically told me, like, you have to swing every at bat or or you're not going to be any good. But I ended up stopping baseball to play golf. But
It's fair.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that my mom's ways of coaching definitely made me not scared of the ball because I was not allowed to be scared of the ball. I was taught to use my face and use my body to make the plays, and I still do. There are some moments that in college now where the girls are hitting a lot harder that I'll try to go after a ball that's going right by my head, which I should absolutely not do. I should just let them have it.
Yeah. So you've pitched for 2 years now, obviously.
Bryan, yeah.
Do you have a favorite game, favorite moment during that time?
Originally, I would have said the first game that I ever pitched for Bryan. We were playing Cumberland University. It was one of our first games, and we were losing pretty badly. And I came in and ended up throwing quite a few strikeouts. But that is no longer my favorite game. This year, actually, I pitched against CIU and threw 11 strikeouts and a 1-hitter. And so that was probably my best game so far this season. I threw a no-hitter in high school. That was obviously really cool. I've almost thrown a perfect game, but not quite there yet. But yeah, for Bryan, it would be the CIU game where I threw 11 strikeouts and 1 hit.
Okay. And I call some of the softball games here. I really enjoy watching them. Can you take me, like, as an outside observer through how you throw that changeup? Like because I think it's a fan favorite pitch. How do you do that?
I've gone through so many changeups to find the one that works with me. So actually, fun fact, most people know this, but I have ridiculously small hands. So most pitchers' hands are about like 3 fingers longer than mine. So my pinky is about this size. And so your fingers really, really like kind of determine how you're going to throw the ball. And so so I had to go with the flip change at first, which is just where you throw like this and you just kind of let it go. And it didn't end up working. It wasn't my kind of pitch. And so I ended up going to a knuckle change, and I learned it from a girl named Kaylee Wynn. So basically you just take the ball and you split it with the 2 seams down the middle. And instead, pitching is all about snapping your wrist. Okay. So no matter what pitch you throw, if it's a curveball, you're snapping your wrist here, screw, you're snapping that way, fast, you're snapping that way. But with my changeup, and this is not super common, you just let it go. So you come around, and you honestly, the way I was taught is shake somebody's hand. So you come around and you legit let the ball go like you're going to shake someone's hand.
Okay.
So the ball doesn't have spin. It's kind of like a knuckleball. So the ball just doesn't have spin, and it legit just floats and it drops. But the biggest thing about it that I have that not most people can master is you can't slow your body down. The thing that gets people with changeups is you can watch a pitcher's body naturally slow down when they're trying to throw a slower pitch. Mine does not. It looks identical to my fastball until it comes out, and it just kind of drops. Yeah. So that's what gets the most people on it. It is my favorite pitch to throw when it is on. I have to control my face on the mound and not smile or laugh when I see somebody do the, like, reaching swing. Yeah. But it's definitely my favorite pitch to throw.
It's It's good to hear that because I've noticed that, like, but I can't, like, I don't have the
Can't be
softball
biased.
terminology.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, no, I don't have the softball terminology
Oh,
to
really?
get there. I don't know like exactly what it is, but like there's been plenty of times this year that I've seen. I was like, yeah, that girl thought that was a fastball. There was a fastball coming. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
That's really the difference in what sets my changeup apart from a lot of other people's. Is I disguise it until it comes out of my hand.
Okay, all right. Well, wow. That's good to know. That'll help me. That'll help me in the booth. That's nice.
My favorite one to throw for sure. You can definitely watch me smile on the mound. I'm not very good at it, but most of the time I don't laugh or anything. But I do have a little bit of a smirk on my face when I get somebody.
And you make a good play. You make something that makes the other team look silly. You want to celebrate a little bit. All right. So we've gone over a little bit of softball, a little bit of your family heritage here at Bryan. I'm sure most people know you actually were pretty active on social media when you came to Bryan. Are you still do that?
Definitely not as much as I was, but still a little bit.
Okay. And you are in a long-term committed relationship, and I've heard your plans are to get married we talked to Jeremy before this. So with all that being said, like how do you balance it all? School, softball, social media, relationship, like what do you find that is like the biggest thing or like the main thing that helps you stay centered and connected to everything?
Genuinely, and people will tell you this, but you don't understand it until you're in it. It just kind of takes time to learn what works best for you in a relationship, what works best for you just personally. Talking about social media, I was pretty active on TikTok and Instagram, and I had gained about 180,000 followers on TikTok and then about 16,000 on Instagram my senior year of high school. And I actually was going on influencer like trips and meets and stuff, meeting other people from all around the world. And I still talk to those people to this day. So I was very active in it. I had sponsorships, brand deals, and I loved it. But I didn't have a very intense schedule in high school. So coming to college was definitely a change because I had to learn how to try and balance both. So my freshman year, I still tried to balance it. I did brand deals, but honestly, we're on a Christian campus. There are some brand deals. I worked with a knife company for a little bit. I can't really be promoting knives in the dorms and stuff. So I definitely had to adjust to what kind of deals that I was doing. And I still carried it out. I still worked with a lot of the companies. I actually had contracts that I had signed that I carried out. I would go around Dayton and take pictures for brands. That's the biggest part of social media is really being an influencer. It's all about taking pictures, wearing content, or like making things in what the brand is sending you. So I did that for my freshman year. Sophomore year, I honestly kind of just stopped doing it. I realized that it was too much. And even to this day, I'll post a little bit here and there when I have a brand that reaches out to me. But I don't do it as much. Doing college, social media, having a relationship, and playing softball is way too much for me personally to balance. I know there are some people that do, and it's really hard. The best thing I would say is if you have a manager that can manage your account for you. I did not want to go that far into it. It's not something I wanted to pursue as a career. I have friends that have millions of followers that are pursuing it as a career, and great for them. But that was just, I looked within myself and realized that this is not something that I want to be doing when I'm 25, 30 years old. I don't want to still be making videos. Yeah. I also was not a big fan of how public my life was. I went through a lot of mentally hard stuff with the comments and the backlash I was receiving for opinions that I had or things that I posted. And obviously I'm used to it now, but at one point me and my family were getting death threats. Wow. And people had leaked my address and my phone number and all this stuff. And so I kind of just shut it down after that. But now I still get those messages and I just kind of mess with them at this point because I think it's funny. But onto the relationship, the biggest thing I would say is communication. Okay. My boyfriend, Parker Cosby, played baseball here at Bryan, and I played softball. And so the schedules kind of clashed because we were on an away season and they were on a home season. So he was here a lot. I was traveling a lot. So honestly, it was just being in constant communication, supporting each other online when we could, watching each other's games, having something to talk about. And then if we had days that were available and we had times, we would get lunch together. We would just go do little things. Yeah. It was hard for a little bit just because we didn't really ever get to see each other. But he's now graduated and I'm still playing, but we're in a spot now where it's a lot better. So you definitely have to get through that hard part to get to the good part. And I feel like that's where we are now.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you've kind of got it figured out just from like a regimen kind of
Yeah.
perspective. I think that there's a tendency, even if it's not, even if you don't have everything to do, like you just mentioned, softball, school, social media, relationship. I think that like even just like if you were just like I've got school and then I've got athletics. I mean,
Yeah.
even that can be overwhelming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
It
mean-
was super hard for me to figure out my first freshman year here, learning how to go to classes. Like I said, I was ineligible, so it took some experience to figure it out. That was a really hard time. Having to admit to my parents, my family, that I didn't get to play softball that year, and I actually lost the Hope Scholarship forever. So
Wow.
that was a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through it. It definitely, when they tell you that you learn as you go, you do. It all comes with age, with experience, and with maturity. And I feel like you need to listen to the people around you is the best thing that I would say. Listening to the people that have done it, what they can do to help you. Definitely take people's advice, because I did not.
I'd say that's spot on. I mean, coming into Bryan, I was a good student in high school, probably, I don't know, 3.5, something like that. My first semester here, I had a 2.7, and
I think I beat you with my 1.6.
I think you got me. But like I didn't like my I think I went home my freshman year of college for winter break, and my dad or my mom had found my grade somehow. I was trying pretty hard to like.
Oh, I was too. They didn't find out until I lost everything.
Yeah.
And
I was like, and my dad, he kind of comes up to me and he was like, hey, he's like, you're smart. He was like, don't make me have to talk to you about this again. And I ended up being able to keep the hope, but I was pretty close after that first semester.
I was not close. I think you had to have 9 to be eligible to play your sport. I had 8.
Oh,
I
wow.
completed my freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult. I actually got academically withdrawn from a class.
Wow.
Yeah, for over 8 absences. So I struggled my freshman year.
I mean, I had a class. I won't say what it is because I've actually dropped it twice. But the first time I withdrew from it, and that class is pretty brutal. I won't say what it is. I respect all the professors here and their livelihoods and what they bring.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah, no, that was not on the professors. That was completely on me. Hey, I have over 3.0 now, though.
Yeah.
Back up. I'm about to graduate. So it is possible. If you fail, people out there, it is possible.
Yeah. If you start off one semester doesn't define you
No,
academically
not at all.
for
You need
sure.
one good year.
So you just brought up graduating, and so are you graduating a year early, or are you graduating?
No, so I was originally going to try and graduate early, but I decided that I'm not quite finished. My coaches, Leah and Nathan Thompson, have been absolutely great. They have changed my perspective on the game, truly. They're the sole reason, other than my teammates, that I'm still here and still playing. So I've decided to take my senior year. I will graduate May of 2025.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So any idea what you want to do after you get off the hill?
My dad has been in real estate and been a loan officer for about 26 years.
Okay.
And so I've grown up watching him do that. I actually worked at a title company when I was 15. So my original plan was just to go into real estate, become a real estate agent. I love talking, obviously. I'm a good talker. It's either going to be real estate, get my real estate's license, or become a social media manager for some kind of company.
Great.
I was doing an assignment for one of Dr. Finch's classes and came across a lot of social media management jobs and requirements, and I met most of them without a degree. So I thought that if I was going to do anything else, that would be a good option. But I've had a range of jobs. I love working. I work as a server and a bartender at my restaurant back home, and I've loved that. I love the service industry. So I definitely love talking to people, helping people out, doing anything I can to serve others. I think that is a real gift of mine that the Lord has given me, is being able to serve and talk to others. So something in that field.
Everybody's unique in their career path for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've had a variety of jobs. It's weird. Like my first job in the fast food industry, I actually really liked like a lot. Like, but I had to leave. It wasn't a great situation, but I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And there's some people who like that line of work. You said serving, bartending, just fits them. Like it's what they're what they're meant to do. But do you have anything else that you want to talk about or bring up, or
Not really.
any shout outs you want to give? Nothing.
Bryan softball.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks Denver for coming out. And we'll be back next week. I believe our guest is going to be Mr. LJ Rowden, so that'll be a good one. Chase is going to do that one. And for now, we're signing off.